everyone is in that stupid meeting and they're literally watching a movie. I love that.
Yeah,
Yes, right?
Declan was working overtime, bitch, like looking for the angles, looking for which camera fit to show them. Like, damn, you should be a producer, man.
Declan is the MVP of this book. Hi everyone, Nina here,
Hey, and I'm Anya.
and welcome to our podcast. For today's episode, we are super excited. We're finally discussing Crescent City. I just want to jump right in. Anya, like I know you're excited too about this, so just tell me your
hmm
general opinion of this book. What were your expectations? What you got out of it? How you feel? Everything.
Okay, let's go. I am so excited to talk about it because I think that so far this is the best book Sarah J. Maas has ever written. Like, finally, I have next to no complaints for a Sarah J. Maas book. That's incredible. Like, that's never happened before. That I actually like started reading a Sarah J. Maas book and didn't spend like at least the beginning of the first book or the first series being like, what the hell is going on? Could something interesting start happening? Like, no, interesting things just started happening from the beginning. Incredible. And I liked all the characters. And there was actually world building. There was actually an interesting world. Can you believe? I was waiting for this. There was an investigation. There was mystery. Everything I like in books was in this one. I was happy. I mean, we got plot twists too. We got lots of romance. We got lots of action. So overall, I was really, really enjoying it. Maybe in the last third or something, like it got a little bit slow because I already like knew things are going to be winding down, so then there's gonna be like huge action scenes. So I was like, okay, it's getting repetitive now. Like, let's go into the action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But I would agree with everything you just said. I love this book so much. I mean, I was kind of prepared for info dumping because people told me that
hmm
once you start Crescent City, you just have to kind of struggle through the first few chapters or something like that because there's a lot of information, a lot of world building. So I think that perhaps if I wasn't prepared for that, I might struggle a little bit. But since I knew what to expect, it didn't bother me at all. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that there are so many different species in this world. Like it's so diverse and I love that so
hmm
much. I would want to live there. Okay, maybe not. I mean, it's pretty dangerous, but like it sounds super cool.
Yeah.
So I was completely into it from the beginning. I was also like really intrigued by all of the characters. I loved, Bryce and Danica from the start, and I loved this idea of a wolf pack that they had going on. Like even if Bryce wasn't a wolf
hmm
herself, she was part of the pack, and that gave me all the feels. And I'm
hmm
getting goosebumps right now. I'm just gonna say it. Like I really thought that we were gonna be following her story with the wolf pack and with Danica because going into this book,
Right.
I had no idea like what is the plot. I just know that we have shapeshifters in this book and what else? That the main character has red hair. And I knew that this relationship, like Danica's and Bryce's, is very prominent because I saw so many reels about it, but I never read those reels, so I
hmm
didn't get any spoilers. I just saw the names, Danica and Bryce, so I knew they were important. So in my head, it was like, of course, they're the main friendship in this book. Like it's not about the romance, it's more about their friendship.
hmm
Also, Danica even felt at times more important than Bryce. Like we got Bryce's perspective, but Danica was the all powerful one. She was the heir to a position in her werewolf society. And I was like, well, shit, this girl, she's a queen. I can't wait to see more of her. So what happened really
Yeah.
shocked me. And I'm going to give the word to you now because I need to take a breather for a second.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you remember we were like hanging out, and I was like, well, Danica is coming back, right? Like, when is it happening? Like, I know it's happening. Like, I know you mentioned that she's mentioned later in the book, so where is she? Because she's not dead. Like, I know she's not dead. Like, I was full on, like, delusional that this is just, like, a cover up or she's faking her death for some reason. Like, there was no way she just killed off, like, someone who seemed like a main character. And we actually, like, got to connect with her. We got attached to her. We got attached to the rest of the pack so quickly. I actually like felt their friendship, that this like real, you know? So I was like shocked that this was all for like 50 or 90 pages, and that's like that. I was completely like in denial, but she did a good job, like completely, befuddling me. Like I did not expect that at all. And yes, you're also right about the world and the world building, because I myself knew nothing going into Crescent City. I think you told me that there's some shapeshifters there, but that's it. Like I read the blurb and also looked at the map at the beginning and like the little houses, and I was like, okay, let's go. And then I just started reading, and it was fun, interesting, and cool. And I was just following the events. Like for me, it wasn't hard to follow the events at all, and the world makes sense. Like, yeah, they're on Earth, but they're also like magical creatures. Like, I've read the Mortal Instruments, I know what's going on, you know. And it was giving the best parts of the Mortal Instruments for me, like what I've been missing actually for so many years. And also, I'm pretty sure that this is Earth. Like the planet we're on is Earth. There's too many references for it not to be Earth. But like it's still not like urban fantasy, I guess. It's not like magical realism type of thing. It is like a fantasy, but it's also got technology on a sort of more modern level. And I was actually wanting to read something like that for a while. Like I remember thinking ages ago, why are all the fantasies stuck in like the medieval times? Why can't there be a book about wizards that also has like cell phones in it and also isn't on Earth? Give me like an interesting different world too, but also put cell phones in it. Time progresses everywhere. So why do I not get any books like that? So that's actually, maybe that's because I was thinking about that concept before, but as soon as it started happening, I was like, okay, I got it. I got it.
Yeah, I also imagine this as Earth, but like really into the future or something when, just like
Hmm.
all of these different creatures kind of came into our world through those gates and stuff. Also, Hunt at one point mentions the year in which the story is set.
Hmm.
I forgot it now, but it's definitely far into the future. And when it
Hmm.
comes to cell phones and all of that, I don't know how I felt about it because I like, the fact that fantasy stories are set into those medieval times. I love that kind of ancient vibe and magical, like history vibe that it just kind of brings along with it. So I wasn't sure how
Hmm.
I felt about, cell phones and them texting, but I got into it super fast. So it didn't bug me at all. But I was kind of worried at the beginning when I saw cell phones. I was like, no, this is what? Like, this is our society, what's going on. But no, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it and it's written really well, so it was great.
Same, I agree. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. So we start off by kind of meeting Danica and Bryce. What was your like first impression
Hmm.
of these two?
I really liked them. Yeah, like you said, I thought that that's it. This is a book about besties, and we're gonna be following their adventures. Like you saw in the blurb that like some sort of like shocking event happens, but I never thought that one of them would die. Like, no chance in hell. So I actually really liked the beginning where we just saw them like running errands and like making that wish on that arch. I was like, this is definitely some sort of foreshadowing. Like, something's going to be happening with those arches, so I better pay attention. So that was good. But yeah, like, I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought back then that their friendship is like really cute and sweet.
Yeah, same. I loved the vibe that I got from both of them. They felt very kind of rebellious.
Hmm.
And I was
Hmm.
also really curious because I think at the beginning she also mentioned Juniper and Fury, and I wanted to meet them, especially Fury. She sounded so interesting,
Hmm.
like this assassin or something. Like no one really knows what her job even is, super like suspicious.
Yeah.
And Juniper, like this beautiful dancer. And I also love the fact that Bryce loves dancing. This can be like relatable to a lot of people who I suppose want to dance ballet, but they can't because of their supposed body type.
Hmm.
So I really love the fact that Sarah put this into the story as well. Bryce felt a lot more relatable. I also love that she described her as really curvy and yeah, I just imagined her as the super sexy badass bitch and she proved me right. But yeah, I also remember at the beginning when she was talking about the archangels, about Micah, their governor. She also mentioned the Umbra Mortis, his special agent that hunts demons. And the way it was emphasized, it was like he's this badass, scary dude. And I just kind of knew, oh shit, is this gonna be her love interest,
Yeah.
her badass boyfriend? So I was so excited for that, and I couldn't wait to meet him too. And I just knew it. And yeah, Hunt, my man, I love him.
I love them both. Oh my gosh. I think they're such great characters. And I really I believe them. You know what I mean? I believe that Hunt has been through a lot and that he's truly struggling with it all. Like in
Yeah,
previous books, I felt like they were like generals or spy masters, but then they're just kind of, I don't know, acting like 23-year-olds at best. No, with Hunt, I fucking got him. And I thought that he was written well, and I really, really enjoyed how their relationships progressed too. I just love Bryce so much. She's the kindest, sweetest person on the planet, and all. Oh my gosh! You could tell that this is she's truly just that's just her heart. She's not trying to. My notes fell like this.
you're getting emotional.
Oh my god. Literally, I'm just throwing shit around the room. No, it wasn't on purpose. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, I was just saying that I love Bryce and that she is a good person and that she truly just cares so much about everyone and her friends. And yeah, and she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks of her. She just
I love
knows who
that.
she is, and she is a badass bitch. It's great.
I love that so much. She has her insecurities, but she felt so freaking real. And I love the fact that, like you said, she is who she is and she doesn't care. She literally doesn't care. I love how she embraces her sexuality, for example. How she says, yeah, I fucked that dude in the bathroom. So fucking what? She doesn't care that everyone thinks she's, I don't
Hmm.
know, a skank or whatever. She literally just cares about the people she cares about, and she wants them to love her and know the truth, and that's all that matters to her. And I love that and I appreciate it so much, because sometimes in our society we really get caught up with this idea of what will people think of you, but at the end of the day, who cares? What does it matter? It doesn't. So I really love that. And in regards to Hunt, yes, like you said, he felt old. He felt like this badass dude who has lived through it all and who has seen the world. You could sense that sense of authority the moment you meet him. You can
Hmm.
sense that he's this dangerous individual. And I really appreciate that so much, because that's something that I have missed from previous books of Sarah J. Maas's. But okay, we'll talk about Hunt a little bit later when Bryce actually meets him and stuff. Let's now focus a little bit
Hmm.
on Connor, because Sarah did this really well, I think. I caught the vibe between Connor and Bryce the moment she entered that room and the pack was chilling in her
Hmm.
apartment. She was complaining, oh shit, I'm not gonna get any privacy. And then there was Connor. I feel like he was just watching her and he was I don't know, doing something with his fingers. And she noted something that she didn't note with anyone else in the room. And I just felt their chemistry just by that one freaking sentence. And I was like, oh my gosh, Connor is the one. I was so excited about that at the time. And when she explained it later on that they have had this thing, but not really. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get this tension. It's going to be like a from friends to lover situation. And I love that for a change or something. But yeah, I love Hunt, but Connor, my heart can handle what could have been. I wish they got at least a
Hmm.
month of dating before he died. Something, anything, a kiss, anything.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
damn.
so sad now.
Yeah.
I want to tattoo him on my arm because I'm so
Shit.
sad. Seriously.
Oh my
I'm
god.
I'm literally going to the tattoo artist the 5th of February. So I'm gonna tell her, Bryce plus Connor, please write it on my arm right here. So everyone can see.
Oh my gosh. Will the girls who ship Hunt and Bryce come and hunt you down?
I don't think so. Like I said, I love Hunt too. And you can't do anything.
Hmm.
Connor is dead. So I feel like people still can
Yes.
feel for him and them and what could have been.
No, definitely. And when she texted him after the date with the asshole, and she was like, "Okay, fuck it, it's time. I'm giving him a chance. And she finally did it. And that was just like, that's why I didn't want to believe that the pack was dead. I didn't want to believe it. I was like, haha, okay, that's funny, Sarah. But like, let's move to the part where we find out that this is all fake. Okay, yeah, there's gonna be maybe a love triangle or something. Right? Right, Sarah?
Yeah, right,
Wait,
Sarah.
are they
I'm
dead?
still waiting for that love triangle. Okay, I'm getting
Honestly.
old, so please,
Yeah.
okay? I need to read a fanfic about this shit because I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get over this anytime soon. I mean that. No, yeah, like, oh my
Oh.
gosh. When she texted him, I had this bad feeling in my gut. They waited for so long.
Mhm.
I'm super scared that something's gonna happen. But I didn't think of him dying. I literally didn't. I don't know how I could have been so naive. I thought he was gonna get kidnapped or something. I don't know, but not literal death. I did not see that coming, and I hate myself for it.
Yeah.
And let's talk about, like, literally it happened on the night when she went to this club. She went to party with Juniper and Fury. The moment that she left the apartment, Danica said something that she rarely said to her. She told her she loved her. And, Bryce explained to
Mhm.
us that she told Danica she loved her lots of times. She was the first one to say it, but Danica wasn't used to that. And she just told her that one time when they thought they were gonna die, when they were hunting some people who were torturing animals and stuff. And that was the only time she told her she loved her. So this was very suspicious. And my naive ass still didn't think, oh my gosh, maybe she's gonna die, because the only time she ever said I love you was before she almost died. And I still didn't think about that. What the fuck?
Bitch, I didn't think about it until now. Oh god. No.
How did we miss that? And I mean,
No.
we're
I
bookworms.
mean,
We read a lot of
ugh.
books. We see these hints, and still, like, we still didn't see it. It's incredible.
But I mean, damn. Like, as much as I thought that the Nika and Bryce's friendship was wonderful and cute at the beginning, I felt like so sad for Bryce too, because throughout the book she just kept finding out that Danica was hiding more and more things from her. And she was like, no, Danica would never do that. Like, of course, like, she's innocent. Like, if she did something like that, she would tell me. And I was like, Bryce, baby, you're too kind to everyone. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is becoming like a recurring thing in this podcast. But like, I keep saying that I fucking hate the trope of I didn't tell you those secrets because I was trying to protect you. Like, that is, can we not, can we just, like, I can tell that this is just done to like have a mystery in the novel, but if you think about it logically, it just makes the person who's keeping the secret look like an asshole, because there's no actual reasonable explanation that the person is actually safer from not knowing that secret. Like, it doesn't make sense. So one complaint that I have about this book is that this was employed a couple of times.
I mean, throughout reading all of this, I was also really annoyed at Danica, and I felt
Mhm.
for Bryce, because I used to be like that too. I mean, I still kind of am sometimes naive, and people, no matter how many times they disappoint, I still get surprised. And I felt for Bryce, and she couldn't even ask her. She was gone, she was dead. And I really understood that need for knowing and for understanding, just trying to find out because she needed to know. I really got that. I felt for her.
Mhm.
So yes, I was annoyed at Danica, and at that one point when we thought that she actually did somehow betray her or something, I never fully believed that, but okay, it was looking suspicious. I was so angry.
Mhm.
But then after the book
Mhm.
was over and we realized that Danica didn't betray Bryce in that kind of way, that she wouldn't have done that, I still wasn't angry at her because, oh, this is such a dangerous world. And Bryce, she was described as this girl with no abilities, with no powers of her own. She can protect herself. Like, I kind of understood Danica not telling her everything. In this case, I just kind of understood this trope of keeping it a secret in order to protect her, even though I am also annoyed by it. But sometimes it makes sense. And I feel like that in this book, it did kind of make sense in a way.
All right. First of all, yeah, like, we did at some point think that Danica completely betrayed Bryce. We thought that she got addicted to synth and that led her to making bad decisions. But like, I wasn't hating Danica because of that. I was actually thinking like, this is a tragic story because Danica is obviously like a very like passionate and kind-hearted person, and she just got caught up in something like really dangerous and bad. So when we thought that Danica was addicted and like murdering, Like, I didn't hate her. I just thought that it would be a really tragic story if that happens. So I don't hate Danica, even if that was the storyline. I think in some ways she's absolutely fair to keep something secret, but when she got a magical artifact and she tattooed it on her body without telling her, that's the point where you're like doing something to a person's body. And the explanation was like, she has a necklace. Like, bitch, you're putting that much trust into a necklace that for hundreds and hundreds of years, Bryce will be alive. She'll just like keep this necklace on and not question anything. What? Like, at this point, Bryce would be safer if she knew. And it's also like, it's a decision about her body. Like, you can just do that. You know what I mean? So I was kind of sad that this was in the book described the way that it was.
Yeah, I just want to give a disclaimer. I just want to say that if maybe I didn't explain it well before, I also wouldn't hate Danica if she was actually, addicted and stuff. Like, I wouldn't hate her, but yes, it would be super
Mhm.
tragic. I just wanted to say that just throughout the book, when we were finding this shit out about her, I was just more and more annoyed with her and, pissed off.
Sure.
But yeah, in regards to the horn, I forgot about that. I mean, I forgot that it was Danica. Danica was the one who tattooed her. And yes, in that sense, that is true. She pretty much did that to her, like gave her this kind of a responsibility without even telling her. So yeah, of course, in that case, yeah. I mean, I understand this keeping a secret that you stole it and I don't know what, but as soon as you disturb a person like that, in regards to their privacy, in regards to their body, then yes, you overstepped for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, at this point you are involving Bryce. As long as, you're trying to protect your friend and you're just doing your own thing, not telling her anything, like, of course I get it. But at this point, like, you're involving Bryce, but you're also keeping her in the dark about everything that's happening. And that, I feel like, is putting her in more danger rather than just telling her what's going on at this point. Or like not involve her at all, like one of the two, but not like that. But like, I guess we needed an intrigue and a mystery, and that was the way to do it. Guess.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Now, I guess we should talk about the club scene. I mean, Bryce, she got really drunk. She did some drugs and stuff. I was kind of icked out by that, if I'm completely honest, just because I'm the type of person who never gets overly drunk. I always kind of have this control over myself and I've never done drugs. I hate drugs. So I was kind of, no, don't do drugs. But at the same time, I still kind of, I was like, you do you. It was kind of, but this is like my own personal
Mhm.
experience, with this kind of situations. So I was like, shit, this is awful. I hated it. And then when she was walking home and she wasn't even aware of herself, that was also like really hard for me to understand. I was like, shit, losing control over yourself like that sucks. And when she was walking up the stairs and she kind of saw something on the floor, like it was wet and stuff, that was when I knew that shit was weird. And she wasn't even like
Yeah.
suspecting it because she was so, out of her mind. She even got a lot of texts from Danica, which was so sad, by the way. They were like on their way, like they wanted to come to the club and see if she was okay. I wish she didn't text her, like at least that. But no, I mean, imagine how it must have felt for Bryce, like when she had to listen to those voice messages, how
Hmm.
guilty she must have felt. Oh my gosh, like of course she then stopped using drugs and stuff. She couldn't touch that shit anymore because it just reminded her of a mistake that wasn't her mistake. It wasn't her fault, but still, I understand why she would have felt that way. And yeah, when she was walking to the door and when she, oh my gosh, when she walked into that apartment and said that Connor was in front of the bed, ripped to shreds because he was like trying to protect Danica. And the other guy, I forgot his name, I'm so sorry, the guy that was rumored to be in love with Danica, he was also next to the bed. And Danica was on the bed, like completely unrecognizable. I mean, I was like, the fuck. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I don't know how I'll ever get over this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that scene was just, I think I didn't even like read it completely because it was described in such a way that was so vivid. I was just like, holy fuck, I cannot like deal with it. Like, good job. That was what was supposed to do. So I was like appropriately freaked out by that. And yeah, I just felt so sad for Bryce. I felt so bad for Bryce. Yeah, I feel like there were so many people in this book that were so judgmental of Bryce. And like, I get it, of course, with the drugs and dangerous fucking substances. You need to either not do them or be very fucking careful, even with alcohol, know your limits and shit. But I also felt like Bryce is young. She's going to be an immortal in a few years. She has a nice friend group that's there for her. She's just doing something that she enjoys. And I feel like so many people are judgmental if you just like going out, going to dance. Like, of course, maybe she should have taken less drugs. But I feel like even if she, like, I don't know, drank one cocktail and then danced around in a cute outfit, she would be getting like so much judgment. And I feel like that's so unfair because what's wrong with liking to dress nice and go out and dance? There's nothing wrong with that. And everyone was so judgmental to her about it. And I was just like, yay, go party. I love you. I don't know. But yeah, then to get that complete like whiplash in the next scene of what everyone else's night was like, it was just like, holy fuck, shit is real right now, you know?
Yeah. And the fact that she like ran after that demon, she just like ran through the streets. I mean, she was
Yes.
so brave. In that state that she was in, and she still managed to do that. I mean, impressive. And then she came up across that person that was hurt, injured. She called for help. We later on found out that that was actually Micah, which is super ironic, right? I mean, let's talk about freaking irony. Oh my god. But yeah, she called for help. Hunt, of course, came there too. Isaiah was with him. They were trying to interrogate her. And yeah, the moment Hunt walked into that room, like I mentioned before, I felt his presence, I felt his age. And I also saw that even though everyone sees him as this super dangerous individual, he felt for Bryce. We could see that in his thought process.
Mhm.
When his colleague was interrogating her, she actually took her phone to play the recording, like the voice message that Danica left for her. And I think Hunt said something along the lines like, "This will destroy her. What the fuck is she doing?" You know? So he obviously has
Yeah.
that kind of sense for people. He has humanity, you could say, because he's not completely cold.
Yes.
If he was, he wouldn't understand that. He would just be like, why not? So we got that kind of a human aspect from him. And immediately knew, of course, there's more to him. We just have to uncover it. And I love the fact that when Bryce threw up, he walked into the room and he covered her up. He helped her. He was super gentle with her. I immediately got
Mhm.
a really good impression of him, and I just couldn't imagine. Like, Bryce was so shocked in that room, and they were trying to ask her questions, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, leave her alone, you know? Fuck.
Yeah. And like he immediately stitched her leg right because she got injured by the demon. And first thing he did was try to save her. And yeah, like Bryce, like you just can immediately see what kind of person she is. Like even in that state, the first thing she did was run out and try to save someone else,
Yeah,
and wouldn't even receive help until like everyone else received help. So
insane.
yeah, I just love her. And also, yeah, I could tell about Hunt that he's not like this warrior who's unfeeling. Like immediately I knew that obviously he cares and probably has complicated past behind him. So that was good.
Yes, I know, I agree. And then after that, of course, Sabine also came in. She was obsessed about the sword, Danica's sword, I don't know what. She was super mean and aggressive. And honestly, the way she was like, my daughter is that and stuff. But from before, like, we found out that Sabine actually isn't that good of a mother, that her and Danica weren't close at all. So I was immediately suspicious of her. I had this feeling, what if she was the one
Hmm.
that killed Danica? I mean, she was also threatened by her because the Prime favored Danica. She was stronger than her own mom.
Hmm.
I was like, well, fuck. I mean, it's completely possible that it was her. So she was actually my number one suspect for a while.
Damn. I mean, yeah, I hated Sabine from the start. The way she was just like blaming like Price somehow and just being an asshole towards her, that was horrible. Like, yeah, you could just tell that like she doesn't give a shit about anyone but herself, and that there's no way to change her mind about anything. And like, if she hates you, then she hates you, and that's it. So yeah, I really immediately didn't like her, but I didn't like suspect her until a little bit later. I don't remember when I started suspecting her, but when they found like the audio that was changed and Sabine was the only one, I was like, well, should she kill her daughter? Well, okay.
At that point, when we found that
So
out, I was
yeah.
just like, I was right. I was right. I knew it. And it turned out I wasn't. But, like I was excited for a
Yeah.
moment there that I figured out the
Yeah.
mystery so fast. But at the same time, I did feel like, okay, she's too obvious for me, So, yeah, then after that, 2 years have passed pretty much. And what happens? Explain to us.
Yeah, so well, we meet Bryce again, and she's obviously had like a difficult fucking time in this time. But she's still working. She's not drinking anymore, but everyone still like believes her reputation about her, right? But yeah, like she's hanging out with her cute little puppy lion thingy that I love.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I love him. And Lihaba too. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing all the names incorrectly, guys.
I
I
don't know
am trying
either.
my best.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
Lele. Lele is the easiest. Like that's her like nickname.
Okay,
Lele.
yeah.
Oh, so cute. Anya. I can't about her. I imagined her with like a Powerpuff Girls. I mean, not like a Powerpuff Girl, but like her voice. That's how it sounded in my head. Like just super girly and cute and
Yeah.
cartoony. Oh my gosh. And she was so
Mhm.
cute because she always
Mhm.
called Bryce. What did she call her? Bibi.
Who
And she
told
had the
her?
nickname for
Oh
Han.
yeah.
She said Atty. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
That was so
And her
cute.
little TV
Yeah.
show. What was it? Bang, something like
Yeah.
Bangs and Fangs or something. I don't
Thanks
know.
and thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was
Yeah.
like, it is not named that. That's not how it's called. When Hunt was like, oh, you're watching Fangs and Bangs. And she was like, Bibi, did you tell him it was called that? It is not called that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. She's so cute.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
I
so
loved
mad at Sarah.
her.
Like seriously, she killed every single one of my
Mhm.
characters that I was super intrigued by and that I loved, and
Mhm.
I'm so angry.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I wanted to wait till the end, but honestly, that death, in my opinion, was so unnecessary. Oh my gosh. Like, we could see before that she can, like, aim her fire from, like, a distance. So, what was, like, there was no logical explanation why she couldn't just, like, fire at the distance and like not get hit by water. Like this could happen. And it just didn't happen because we needed like a big fucking sacrifice at the end. But like we didn't really. We didn't. She could have survived. Like this was like the first fucking day that she was free. She was a goddamn slave. This world has slaves, and then we see a slave get freed, and then like it's supposed to be like beautiful and inspirational, I guess, that like she just like sacrificed herself for the hero like 20 minutes after she got her freedom. Like sure it's sad, but like how better would this story be if we actually got her to like enjoy her fucking life, like leave the fucking library for like the first time. Like I would rather see that than like
Same.
be shocked by a tragic death. Like sorry, but yeah,
Same.
like it's not
Yeah.
didn't do it for me.
That would be so
Hmm.
interesting. And Lahiba as a character was just so lovable. And I guess that's why her
Hmm.
death hurt so much. But like I mean, if she really wanted to kill her off, like she could have done that in I don't know future books when it would have made more sense. I guess. I mean,
Exactly.
and like here when Bryce told her you're free, Lahiba, I died. I was like, no, she's literally gonna do this
Hmm.
when she's finally free. Are you kidding me? And Lahiba said something along the lines that she knows that, she of course peeked in her drawer and saw the
Hmm.
documents. And I was like, that's such a Lele thing to do. Of course she would peek there and see that.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how happy she was when she
Mhm.
saw that. Imagine finally freedom. I can't. And what she said before she died, she was like, then let the world know that my first act of freedom was to help my friends. I mean, Anya,
Aw.
look at. I mean, you can't see, but my freaking arm, like hair, is raised. I get
Oh,
goosebumps. I
yeah.
get goosebumps. And Bryce glanced
Mhm.
back just once to the friend who had stayed by her when no one else had. I mean, she's killing me with these
Damn.
quotes. And then this. Oh my gosh! When they could like hear her through the speakers, my friends are with me, and I am not afraid. One by one, the angels in the 33rd rose to their feet. Then Rune and his friends came over. something, I don't know, I can't see entirely from the notes, but they all raised to their feet and they put their hands on their hearts, and it was just so emotional, and she
Mhm.
kept repeating, my friends are with me and I am not afraid. And it was so awful because, like, how afraid she is of the water. The minute that freaking tank came in there, she was so scared, she was
Yes.
panicked, so she is afraid, but she's kind of trying
Mhm.
to get the courage and to just do the shit.
Mhm. Fuck. Like, I'm sad. Like, she did such a heroic and beautiful thing, but it didn't need to be written that she dies. Like, she could have just been very good at firing fireballs from a distance, and that's it. And that would have solved everything. Sarah, come on.
No,
So
for
yeah, I was sad.
real, this shit pissed me off.
Yeah.
But yeah, we completely skipped
Hmm.
to the ending because, I mean, we just love Layla so much. So this had to be like stated in the beginning how sad we are about it, and you can hear it in our voices. Yeah. Okay. So where did we left off? Like Bryce. Okay, she's still working for Jessica. By the way, yeah, we haven't mentioned Jessica. She's her badass boss bitch.
Hmm.
I love Jessica. By the way, she keeps like saying, I'm gonna turn you into a bear. I'm gonna turn you into a pig, and I don't know what. And I'm just there laughing, and I'm like, no, you won't. I mean, she loves Bryce. She like complete. She
Yeah.
always complains, and I don't know, but she literally gives her a lot of freedom. And I mean, I hate the fact that she kept slaves. That was pretty awful. But she's also a bitch, and she owns it. She doesn't pretend like she is anything other than what she is. And I like that about her character, and she's interesting. I need to find more about her. And you know who she reminds me of, by the way? She reminds me of that, I forgot her name, but in Akotar, in A Court of Silver Flames, we meet this really annoying, bitchy priestess that's writing a book about the Valkyries, right? Or whatever they're pronounced. And Gwyn works for her. So Nesta, like, at one point, she kind of just walks up to her and is like, bitch, stop treating Gwyn that way and stuff. And she has that Jessica attitude. She's like, do you know who I am and stuff? She's also very bitchy. She's direct. And also, she's actually visually
Hmm.
described the same as Jessica, like white hair or stuff like that. Beauty, I don't know what. So, what if this is like the same person, Anya? Literally, like, I mean, that's all I'm gonna say.
I love this idea. Like, I think that would be super interesting, and I will also keep my mouth shut further on that. But yeah, I really like her too. And you said that she is a bitch and she doesn't pretend to be anything that she's not. But like, I actually think that she is pretending a little bit. Like, I don't think she is as bitchy as she actually is. Like, I think that she's trying to, like, she'll pretend to be tough, but in reality, if she loves someone, you just know that
That's
that's.
true. It's like her armor or something. I mean, we discussed this about ourselves, once, listeners. Anya and I, we both love dressing in black. I
Mhm.
mean, honestly, I feel most comfortable when I'm in black. I feel the most badass, the most, I don't know what. But then we were like, but we're also very emotional and
Yeah.
kind, or at least I would say that we're kind. I don't know. And we just talked about how sometimes maybe you dress in a way that hides who you really are. You want to present yourself to the world as this person so that they can see the emotional personality beneath or something like that. I don't hide my emotionality, I guess, but I still don't really talk about it, I suppose. So maybe it's the same, yeah, here with Jessica. She's just like being a bitch because she's not in reality.
Maybe, yeah. Like, I agree. Like, it's interesting because if you look around, like, my apartment, I have like flowers everywhere and everything is pink, and I have like candles and blankets, and everything is like so cute. And then when I dress, I look like a witch or like a vampire that's trying to pretend to not be a vampire, but still like look scary. Like, I don't know. Like, I dress like all in black always.
I
Sort of
know.
interesting.
It's so interesting. And it's like, I don't know, with me, for example, I also, yeah, like I love leather. I love black, the color black. I love tattoos. I have
Hmm.
tattoos. Some say I have that resting bitch face. But, people say this a lot to me. When they start talking to me, they are actually surprised at how, how not bitchy I am. And I'm like, yeah, well, thank you. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. I feel like we all have certain armors about us, and yeah, that
Hmm.
we like to present to the world, but that's not who we really are.
Hmm.
Okay, let's move on. So eventually, Micah, he kind of brings Bryce and Hunt back together. I mean, back together. Like, he basically assigns them to work together on this murder case.
Yeah.
He wants to find out this demon, supposedly. So yeah, that's how kind of Bryce and Hunt become a thing, partners, I
Hmm.
guess. But of course, at the beginning, it's super icy between them. It's kind of weird because every time you're like in Hunt's head, he keeps saying like how he notices her curves and her body and stuff. But at the
Hmm.
same time, she just annoys him because he sees her as this party girl. And Hunt annoyed me at first because of this. I hated how judgy he was. He really, really judged her. Like, he still thought that she drank, and I don't know, he just had these predispositions about her. And I was like, you don't know her, okay? Shut the fuck up. So I was kind of annoyed at that. And I love the fact how, he saw who she was through actual actions. It
Hmm.
wasn't like plainly stated to him. Bryce didn't tell him, I don't drink, but he saw
Yeah.
it. He tasted her supposed vodka. He actually
Hmm.
saw that it's water. Little stuff like
Hmm.
that. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that's what I love about Bryce. Like, she doesn't give a shit to impress anyone, to correct anyone's misconceptions. She just knows who she is, and she's like not giving a singular fuck. So I enjoyed that. And also I saw Han being like really judgmental, but I also like try to see it from his perspective, and like he's got like this super difficult life where he had to deal with so much trauma, and he probably sees her and he's thinking like she just lucked out in life, like she has everything, and like that like sparks some resentment in me because that's not how it went for me, and like I'll just be super bitter about that. So like it's not nice, but like I got why he was feeling that way. And we also got like kind of the same from Bryce because she's also like dealt with assholes throughout her life that Hunt, like this exterior version, I guess, of Hunt reminded her of. So they were both so judgy towards each other based on preconceived notions of who they already like decided that each of them is. And I felt from the beginning like this is a story of them finding out more about each other and getting to know each other on a different level and kind of letting go of those misconceptions and of those stereotypes and getting to know the person beneath. So like I got that this is where we're going, so I couldn't be like too annoyed at Bryce for well, at both of them for being judgy because like I felt like it was needed for character development.
Yeah, so like I understood Hunt, I did, but I don't know. I guess with time, pretty much at the end, before they became friends, I was getting a little bit annoyed. I was like, can this,
Mhm.
animosity situation just be over already? And can he like find out how amazing she is? And I guess I was a bit more protective of Bryce because at that point I feel like we knew more of her and also
Mhm.
because of what she's gone through. So I just kind of leave my baby alone. But of course, I understand him, yes. And it makes sense for him to think like this. So I appreciate that. It wasn't there just for the sake of it. He actually had reasons. And also, yeah, I love the fact when he also found out about her apartment, he thought that she was just rich. But no, actually, Danica left it for her.
Mhm.
And there was this situation with the nail salon. He really wanted her to write down the names of suspects or something like that. And she went to get her nails done. And
Mhm.
he just thought, that she just doesn't care. But actually, she was meeting up with this girl who maybe had some information. And I loved this interaction between him and Isaiah. The emergency asshole is that I might kill her before we find out the real murderer. And then Isaiah's like, you're just pissed she's not covering or fawning. And he's like I fucking want anyone to fawn. And then Isaiah's like, where's Quinlan now? And he's like, getting her nails done. Isaiah's pause sounded a hell of a lot like he was about to burst out laughing. Hence your presence on Sampson Street before 9. Gazing through the window of a nail salon like a goddamn stalker. I
Mhm.
love this interaction so much. I just imagined him, waiting outside for her to get her nails done. And
Yeah.
every single time he was on that roof, and it was so hilarious because she doesn't know about Searing. She doesn't know that he can literally transport himself through spaces and something. And at one point, he was on a roof just chilling, and he just popped up and just like smelled him and then left. And Bryce doesn't even know that he can do that. I wonder if
Uh-huh.
she's ever gonna find out.
Right? Yeah, that was so fun. But yeah, I trusted immediately that Bryce had some good reason to like go to that nail appointment. I was like, she's planning something.
Exactly.
Like Hunt will see. Like Hunt will get his lesson, So yeah, that was great. But yeah, I
Yep.
kind of loved that their romance was actually like not immediate. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, oh my gosh, we're so in love with it, we know each other for 2 pages. No, I love that we got that slow burn. I was like So
Same.
happy for that. Yeah.
It felt so realistic,
Hmm.
especially because this book is long as fuck. And, I appreciate that because you really then get this sense of, they're really taking their time. It can't be rushed because just the book itself is so long. And you really get like these interactions that maybe you wouldn't get in a book that was shorter because the most
Hmm.
important parts would have to be mixed in. But here you get like the casual parts when they're hanging on the couch watching a game on the TV and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that. And I was also really scared that their, animosity situation was going to go on for way longer. So I was happy that it didn't, that, soon once they kind of started to understand each other,
Hmm.
especially when then there was a second crime and he rushed her there to the murder scene and he saw how devastated she was and he
Yeah.
saw how traumatic this was for her. And that's when he apologized to her and he was like,
Hmm.
I'm so sorry, Bryce, I was stupid. I didn't even think, that's when he realized how traumatized she still is and that he was being stupid. And when he found out about her leg, that she still
Yes.
hasn't healed it because that's the thing that reminds her of the pain. She doesn't want to forget. She
Hmm.
doesn't want to let go of the pain because if she lets go of the pain, it might feel like she's letting go of Danica and Connor and back. So that was so relatable. And I don't know, I was so happy, yeah, that once they found common ground, they actually became friends. So it was kind of like what I suspected was going to happen with Connor and her
Hmm.
happened with them. They were friends and they went from friends to lovers. And I love that.
Same. Oh my gosh, I was so happy that we got that journey from, you know, not really like getting each other, not really liking each other, to actually having a friendship. Like, I feel like that was so good. That was such a good decision. Like, sometimes if you just like want to read a cute little romance and like turn your brain off, of course two people meet and they look at each other and they're like, oh my gosh, it's love. Like, of course that's cute sometimes, but those sort of stories that are written with lots of slow burn and like slow development and just like those cute casual little moments, and then like deeper moments where they actually like find shit out about each other and they're like, shit, oh my gosh, I can actually relate to you on such a deep level. Like, I live for moments like that. So I was so happy we got so many of them here. And yeah, they were so well written because at this moment that you mentioned earlier, that Hunt like dragged her to like the fucking murder scene and didn't think twice, Bryce was so pissed off at him for thinking of her as a suspect. And I was like simultaneously thinking, like, of course, from Bryce's perspective, that's horrible that he did that and that he thought that. But I was also thinking from sort of like a detective perspective, like if I was Hunt, like I would be suspecting everyone just in case there's this 1% chance that she's lying about everything and that she's just so good at being fake. So like I got that also with her scar on her leg. I was so 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 frustrated because from psychological perspective, like I so got that. Like, of course she sees it as a reminder, and once it's gone, this part of her life is gone, and maybe she feels guilty, maybe she feels like she deserves it. But like from the reader's perspective, I'm like, no, you don't fucking deserve it. You deserve to be happy. You don't deserve to be in pain. Go get that fixed right now. So yeah, it was well written. I was like, ugh, sad for her.
It was so complex and so well
Hmm.
written. And I'm really happy for this book. I'm so happy we read it. I want to read like this little quote that also really touched me
Hmm.
for some reason. So this is eventually when they become friends, he actually moves in with her because the Autumn King, he wants actually her brother to move in with her, Rune. And of course, at that point, she doesn't want Rune anywhere near her. And she's like, well, he didn't specify who should live with me.
Yeah.
So Hunt, hi, Rumi.
Hmm.
And I was really happy for that. And it was a good excuse for them to get even closer. So I was
Hmm.
living for it.
Hmm.
And yeah, so eventually one night when he goes to bed, there's this quote: Hunt showered quickly and fell into bed with his skin still drying. The last thing he saw before sleep overtook him was the photo of Bryce and Danica, frozen forever in a moment of peace. And oh my gosh, getting goosebumps again, like this part, frozen forever in a moment of peace. That's so sad because, like, all you have left of the person that's gone are stupid pictures, and you look at the pictures and you look so happy, but they're not there anymore, and it's so
Hmm.
bittersweet. And it's the same like with social media, people might be going through the worst time of their life, but they post a picture where they're smiling and they're happy, but you don't know. Like, you think they're happy, but they're not really. And this quote really kind of resonated with me because of that reason, because I feel like, yeah, that's the world we live in, full of pictures and smiles, fake smiles. And
Mhm.
here, frozen forever in a moment of peace. I don't know, it just touched me so bad and I had to like highlight it.
Yeah. I mean, that was just Bryce. Like, she really like portrayed an image that, that she's still like carefree and this party girl, and that's it, and that she's has nothing in her head, I guess. But really, she was struggling so bad, and like no one, and she had fucking no one. She had like Syrinx and Lily, and the rest of her friends abandoned her for 2 years, and I was just, oh, poor Bryce. I love
I really
her.
didn't like Fury. I feel like she just went away without an explanation, and then all of a sudden she was back and she's like, "Yeah, I'm dating Juniper," and I had to deal with it in my own way. And I'm like, seriously, you couldn't respond in 2 years like one time, text her at least once. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't think that kind of friendship. So I don't like Fury even now. Actually, she kind of annoys me. Maybe if I found out more about her background and her thought process, I would. But I'm at this point, I'm just like over it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the way Fury was written, I can tell that in her own head, she's the main character of the story, and she's like, I'm the one who's struggling the most. I kind of like that like other people in the story do have agency and have also been struggling with the events in their own different ways. I think she said something like, everyone around me always gets hurt. So I guess she believes that she's the main character and that like she's the cause of everyone around her like either dying or struggling or suffering. So maybe she had like so much of that shit going on in her life that she was like, okay, like Bryce, my friend who like knows nothing and she's weak and she's half human, I need to like leave her alone, I guess. But then like from Bryce's perspective, like, I'm sorry, like you cannot abandon friends for this reason. Like you need to like think it through a little bit and figure out that it's doesn't have a good logic behind it, and maybe you should stay here for your friends.
I
And
mean,
also, I'm going to be complaining about something, but I'm going to be complaining about it once we record the Crescent City 2 episode, not now, because at this point I was like, not this
okay.
annoyed.
Okay. Well, in regards to Fury, yeah, she gave that reason about people around her dying, but she didn't have that what idea in regards to Juniper. She was attracted to Juniper. They were having like a thing, and of course she was getting something out of it. So she didn't stop and think, yeah, well, if people around me are dying, maybe I should stay away from Juniper too, especially from Juniper, since supposedly I care about her even more than I care about Bryce, right? So I don't know. I felt like to me, that wasn't a good reason. It just felt like she couldn't deal, like she
Yeah.
just didn't want to deal with Bryce's torture and her pain. And she literally just didn't want to be there for her in that way because she had her own issues, you know?
Yep.
And I understand we all have our issues, but I don't know. If you're a true friend, you still try. You still try to at least
Mhm.
help in a little small way, at least by picking up the phone once. I mean, she picked up the phone for Juniper. They were in contact all the time. Like when I read that, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is her problem? I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
like her.
Mhm. I get it. Like, I like it from a sense that she's complex. Like, she's not just like perfect person, but also I absolutely am annoyed that she was so not a good friend
I
to
mean,
Bryce. Like, she could have talked once. Like, they could have talked at least once or something.
but like, at this point to me, she didn't even feel complex. She just felt like not a good friend because like we
Hmm.
got, that she has this suspicious, dangerous job, and that's all. And then she abandoned Bryce and she kept in touch with Juniper. At this point, that's all we
Yeah.
knew. And then she came back and she was like, well, yeah, sorry, I couldn't deal. Oh, okay, well, all is fixed, all is good in the world again.
Ugh, yeah.
So yeah, she didn't feel complex to me. That's all I'm saying. If she
Hmm.
was complex, I would like her. But at this point, it didn't feel like that.
Hmm.
So, Rune, the brother, what do we think of him? First off, I just have to mention that I love the way he's described, with tattoos and earrings. And, he just literally wants to prove to his dad in every way that he's this rebel. Actions are not enough. He has to look the part too. Even his hair, I think, is described that it's shaved on one side and stuff. So he's like a rock
Hmm.
star, pretty much.
Hmm.
And I love that so much. I love it.
Yeah. I love him. Like, what can I say? I really, really like him. Like, I get he was mean to Bryce, but I still love him. Like, I got from the beginning that he's actually like a good person who just like had a bad moment one time, and I
Exactly.
actually,
I mean,
yeah, love
we
him.
we all say sometimes stuff we don't mean, and as
Hmm.
long as we like accept that it was wrong and we apologize and really self-reflect, and he did
Hmm.
that, so I couldn't blame him. And of course Bryce wasn't even that mad about that. She had her own reasons behind
Yeah.
it, so that wasn't even the actual problem. So
Hmm.
yeah, I love Rune. I love the relationship. I also love how it progressed. It really, came full circle at the end. Hunt said this to her dad, her Autumn dad, King. He said she loved Rune more than she hated you. I don't know in what
Yes.
context it was, but I just remember that Rune kind of fell to his knees and he was like crying because he thought she was gonna die. And
Hmm.
yeah, that was such a good quote. What did you think about the whole prophecy? Rune, supposedly he will be the end of the royal line. He basically thinks that either he is going to die before he gets to rule or whatever, before he gets
Yeah.
children, or that he isn't able to have children. He also thinks that Bryce won't be princess because if she's princess that means that she's also going to die or something, if it's going to be the end.
Hmm.
So what do you think of that?
Right. Well, I kind of think that it's completely plausible that by the end of these books, like maybe the hierarchy of the world will be completely different, and that's the reason why the line will end. Like I didn't take it like that seriously. Like I get that for him it's like so serious, but I'm like not so invested in like the royal line continuing. Like for me, if it doesn't continue, like fine, whatever. Like as long as you have like a nice life and you're happy. Maybe this means just like that the world will change or something, or like yeah, I kind of hope that that doesn't mean that he dies, because like would we be told that from the start that he dies if he actually dies? Okay, some authors would do that, but there's no way he's dying. We would have. Oh my gosh, what if he is dying? Maybe Sorry is doing that. Fuck. No, I didn't believe that Nika
No.
would die.
Yeah, that's true. No, I don't think he's dying. I actually think that, yeah, like you said, the world's gonna change. But I was intrigued by it because it's interesting from the story point of view, the plot line, because what does this tell you? I mean, you also have like rebels in this book. You see a little bit of the human rebels. And obviously, this like world is fucked up. Such inequality.
Mhm.
Humans are treated like shit. Of course, shit has to change. So I feel like this will be like a revolutionary book series. A revolution, a big battle will definitely happen,
True.
and they will probably overthrow the system. And that's why, yeah, he will be the last of the royal blood, because like they'll have a democracy or something like that probably. So that's how I also imagine it. But yeah, at one point at the beginning I was like curious about it, and then the more we got through the story I was like, yeah, that's definitely going to happen, that's what it means. And then also that part, about Bryce when she went to see this, what are they called? Oracle,
Sphinx?
the oracle.
Oracle, yeah.
Yeah, she went to see her, and someone asked her what blinds an oracle. And I was immediately like, well, sunlight or something, light. So, and
Good.
then when there was that scene that she was describing with her and Danica, when they almost died next to the car, and Bryce told Danica like, close your eyes. And then like later on we found out that she's good with guns, so you could think, okay, well, she probably killed them all with guns. But I was like, no, I mean, if Danica couldn't kill them with her super abilities, then she must have some secret super abilities, and it must be connected somehow to light. And then you have Rune, who has these like shadow abilities similar to Rysand, and I was like, well, okay, then it's probably like the opposite or something. But I didn't connect the starlight part, which is stupid. I just knew it was some kind of light abilities, but I didn't think that maybe she has more starlight than Rune does. I didn't connect that part.
Damn. Okay, we get it. You're smart and you can think things through. Amazing. Meanwhile, I had no
I'm
thoughts. I
just an
was like,
overthinker.
yeah, no, and I was like, well, damn, that's crazy. They all just died after Donika closed her eyes. Like, wow. Like, I didn't even, like, I was like, I'll find out. It's fine. I mean, I did have like some
Yeah.
theories, but about this part, I was just like, I cannot connect the dots. So I having some hope that the dots will be connecting soon enough. So
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
was
yeah.
thinking.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. These kinds of mysteries always really intrigue me, and I'm just like, oh,
Hmm.
ooh, ooh, and I just kind of think of it. I guess I think of so many things that I think of the correct answer.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. I had so many wrong
yeah.
theories about this book. Like I said, like I thought that maybe it was the Nika actually that killed everyone and that she didn't plan it, but it happened. And then I also thought that maybe like those killings that were happening, the Crystallis was killing everyone around the city. But if we found out that it's happening along the main streets, along like ley lines, I was like, what if there's some kind of like a ritual sacrifice that, you know, you need to like kill different magical creatures on like certain locations, and then when you kill all of them, the gates to hell open. So I thought that those killings had some kind of ritualistic nature. So when I found out it was actually like sort of random, I was like, okay, I was wrong.
But that's actually an interesting theory about the ritualistic. For example, I had no theory about this, like the ley lines and stuff. That like at that point, there was so much information. I was just like, "What are ley lines?" Like I'm confused a bit now, So I got
Read the
lost
Raven
with that.
Cycle.
Yeah, yeah. Explain.
Yeah, in my favorite book series, you have also magic connected to ley lines. So I was like, oh, cool, you're doing that. I like that. So
I get it. Yeah. And another thing about Hunt's and Bryce's relationship, I love the fact that Sarah kind of brought this up because the definition of alpha hole in, Bryce's way. Your favorite hobbies are brooding, fighting, and roaring. You've perfected about 30 different types of snarls and growls. You've got a cabal of hot friends, and the moment one of you mates, the others fall like dominoes too. And God's help you when you all start having babies. I love this so much because it was like, I mean, this is basically Sarah like dissing herself, because this
yeah.
is literally, this is every male in her books,
Hmm.
They're all alpha holes, and she's literally pointing this out to us like, yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Self burn. Those are rare.
Exactly. Okay, then at one point, Bryce and Hunt, they had to visit that human rebel.
Hmm.
What was his name again?
Pricks?
Yeah, Bricks. They had to visit
Yeah.
him in prison, and they thought that he had something to do with the bomb that was planted in the club where they like almost got
Yeah.
hurt. But of course not. Like he doesn't even know what day it is, and there was like a quote that he said that he liked Danica Fendir, that even when she busted him, he still liked her. And he pretty much explained to them that Danica went easy on them multiple times, that she warned him, eventually, you're gonna get caught. Like, get your shit
Hmm.
together. So Bryce was completely shocked by this. She couldn't believe it. But, at the same time, I was kind of, why is this so shocking? I mean, the way the humans are treated is wrong. Like, of course, Danica would have some kind of a sympathy for this. Like, why don't you? Of course, I understand that the way they're going about it, planting bombs in clubs full of innocent people, of course, it's not the way, but they're desperate. Like, they literally, I mean, they're sorted in camps and tortured and shit. Like, that's, Nazi level shit going on there. So, of course they have to like fight back. I don't know, I know it's a complex situation, it's not black and white for sure, but I wasn't that surprised that Danica might empathize a little bit and understand, especially since she's friends with Bryce. I mean, Bryce is supposedly half human. She also doesn't have much rights either. People also treat her like shit, and she sees that. Of course she's gonna be affected by it, about the unfairness in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I agree. Like, I definitely did not agree with Briggs's methods, and what he did was wrong. But like as he was explaining himself, I was like, well, yeah, can't say you don't have a point, you know? And I definitely think that maybe this is a discussion for the next book more than this one, but I feel like the weakness of these books is that, you know, we get the society when we're explicitly told that humans are treated like shit. They're like the lowest in society, they have no rights, they have horrible lives, and that this class of Vanir, of course, even among Vanir, there are slaves and like different hierarchies. So it's not like all Vanirs just like have perfect lives. But still, for the most part, humans are the ones who get most discriminated and get the less like rights and privileges in this world. So I'm kind of missing from this book one perspective from a human. Like one. Give me like one
True.
human character to give us that depth of the story, because right now we're still hanging out with Vajir who have like pretty like cool and awesome lives. Of course it's not that black and white, but we hear like there's like horrible shit, like there's wars, there's like people getting oppressed, but here we are like just like partying and dancing. And I love the partying and dancing, but if you're going to have this world with this much inequality, maybe give us like this perspective too. And like I kind of didn't like that all the humans that were connected to the rebellion were complete extremists and like crazy, you know? Like give us one perspective who is just like a regular person trying to survive, right?
It would be so cool if we got, yeah, a regular person like in a completely different part of the world. You know, he's like, I don't know, caught in some kind of a camp or something,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't have any abilities. He just has his fists and his like courage or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be so cool if somehow he escapes that camp and then, like, in the second book, I don't know, they're reunited or something
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of work together. I don't know, like, just a
Mm-hmm.
regular human that is courageous. Like, that would be such an inspirational story, I think, especially in
Yeah.
a world where everyone has these abilities and everyone's a badass and everyone knows how to fight, you know? So
Yeah.
that's very true, a very good point. And in regards to Danica, you know, being a sympathizer and all of that, I want to read this one quote. I
Mm-hmm.
actually posted it on our story on Instagram and I told you not to look. And I posted this quote because I love Danica. I just love her. Okay. I know people think Danica was a reckless partier with mommy issues. I know Sabine thinks that, but Danica went to free those animals because she literally couldn't sleep at night knowing they were in cages, terrified, and alone. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's like this little quote here. We're in Hunt's mind. He says, the party princess Hunt and the Triari had mocked her behind her back. And then she goes on and says, Danica was always doing that kind of thing, helping people Sabine thought were beneath them. And this is the point where I just fell in love with Danica like 100%. I love characters that fight for the underdogs, you know? Because I do that too. I always fought for the underdogs in schools and like everywhere I go. I always just stick to the ones that kind of need help. And Danica is this. And when she mentioned these animals, you know, that she couldn't sleep because they were alone and caged and trapped, and that just really connected with me. And I still, I mean, quotes like this make me like, I want Danica to be alive. I want to see her
Mm-hmm.
doing this. I want to see her go to those places and rescuing these animals in actual time right now. I want to see all of that. I don't want her to be gone. And the idea that at the end she actually sacrificed herself, like she became first life completely to help Bryce, like she's
Yeah.
nowhere anymore. She's just gone. Hey guys, I'm turning this into such a depressing episode, but like I'm so sad.
Oh
So
my
well written that I
gosh.
cried. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Like the whole like ending part of this book was just like I couldn't deal. But yeah, I was so happy to see Danica again and that they had that moment and that like Bryce fucking ran and she like ran up in the very, very last second and it was because Danica was there to help her. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so, so nice.
Let's not talk about that part yet because I want to
Okay.
savor it later on, okay? Because, yeah,
Yeah.
that was so good. Oh, another one of the moments that I loved. I mean, there's just so many good Bryce and Hunt moments in this book. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't. So, this one is a unicorn Pegasus. She stroked the lilac mane. Jelly Jubilee. He just stared at her. He thought he saw vibrators or whatever, but they were actually her freaking unicorns. That is another thing that makes Bryce so relatable because I still have dolls at home that remind me of my
Mm-hmm.
dad, for example, or my childhood. And she actually explains a story about them. She never quite fit in. So once she got this special unicorn, the children, kind of liked her and stuff, and they wanted to play with her. And that's just
Mm-hmm.
so, that's so relatable. Children can be mean, and it made her just so much more relatable to us. And I love this little detail. And also, of course, it was funny as hell. I cried from laughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like thinking, like, come on, you're not that old yet. Like, just display them on yourself. It's your apartment. You don't have to hide them in a box,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. What
Mm-hmm.
are they doing in that box?
Yeah, be
And also,
proud
I
of
really
it.
love those. Yeah, be proud. Seriously. And another thing that I really liked, those little, what are they called? Animals that come
First,
from
yeah,
beneath? Otters. Oh my gosh. And their little vests. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? And she literally says here, I saw them when I was a kid and thought they were the most magical thing I'd ever seen. She beamed. I
oh,
still do. And I'm like, of course you would. Like, can we have, please, otters as messengers? Like, why don't we have this? Are you kidding me?
honestly,
Oh,
yeah.
so good. And what did you think about Tyrion? I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but yeah, the merman.
Yeah, I think he's pretty cool. Like, I like him. I kind of like how he was like flirting with Bryce, but like they kind of like bodyguard that they just like flirting with each other because it's funny. I guess.
Yeah,
Like that was like
yeah.
such a fun dynamic to have between them. Like I kind of like got how they like hit it off immediately.
Exactly. I love that dynamic that they were just flirting for the sake of it. Like they both knew at one point nothing's gonna happen between them, but they're just like flirt because they're good at flirting, and why wouldn't they? You know. And of course, I imagine him as Aquaman, like the actor who
Oh,
plays Aquaman. That's who I have in mind. Like this
yeah.
is him. Like even the attitude. Literally, if this ever becomes a movie or a TV show, he has to play this man. But of course,
Yeah,
he won't
sure.
because he's like, I already played Merman. Why would I do this shit again? I'll do a fan casting video for sure, and I'm gonna put him in there. My
Love that.
passion. Yeah. So, oh, this is another hint. That's an interesting one, I guess, for the
Yeah,
future, maybe.
okay.
So, Rude, when they're like, I guess, doing their research in the library, he says
Hmm.
the sword was part of a pear. A long bladed knife was forged from the iridium mined from the same meteorite which fell on our old world. And of course, if you read Akotar, old world is Prithian, right?
Yeah.
So this knife is probably in Prithian.
Hmm.
And it even says here, when knife and sword are reunited, so shall our people be. So when
Yeah.
I read this, I literally just screamed and I was like, what does this mean? What does it mean reunited? This word is super, key. I don't know. Do you remember like from Akotar from the series, like a knife that was really important there? Because I can't think of it now.
Okay, I didn't even read it that long ago, but I cannot think of like a knife. Like I know Nesta made her own super cool sword, but before that, like yeah, like I can't think of anything which probably it exists and we're just like not
I mean,
scholars of this universe, you know?
like a knife was definitely mentioned. Like I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure this is like a hint. But yeah, sadly we can't remember right now. I'm definitely gonna Google it after this episode's over.
Don't
But yeah,
fucking
also
don't do
like
it. Don't do it.
what? Why not? What?
Like don't
Why
Google
not?
what
She just freaked
happens.
out on me.
Just read.
I don't
Read.
want to Google what happens. I just want to Google about the knife.
Well, what if it appears? Oh shit! Shut up! No, just read Crescent City. Don't Google anything. Fuck.
Okay, fine. I think I'm at 75% of the second book, so I guess I'll finish it and then I'll Google it, okay?
Better do that way. Yes. I mean, it was so funny to me that almost in the beginning of the book, we heard immediately that Lunathian Crescent City is completely covered in cameras, and there's nothing that happens in the city that cameras can't see. And then we just got entire plot about how nobody could tell anything from the cameras.
That's
like,
true.
like, why mention it at the beginning? Just don't say that the entire city is covered with cameras, because surprisingly, every character was able to find like a place without cameras. Just say that you don't have a complete network, and that's it. Because like that, it just kept making no sense.
Exactly. It's because it's like a world with high tech and stuff, and they
Hmm.
were like, it wouldn't make sense for them not to have But yeah, she definitely made her, storytelling situation a lot more difficult. I mean, yeah, every single time there was like a malfunction or there was like a weird angle, just the right angle. They just know where to go to not be seen. And I'm
Yeah,
like, what kind of a shitty, camera situation do they have going on there? Like, seriously, isn't this like the future on planet
yeah,
Earth? I mean, at this point, our cameras
exactly.
are incredible. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, fix your security.
But it
I
was
don't
funny.
know. Yeah. Oh, why did you think of the Demon Prince?
Yes, yes, yes. He intrigued. All I can say for now is that no, not all I can say, but the first thing I want to say is that he was sexy. Like I imagined this dude as super sexy, and like I don't know, he gave me that Rysand vibe for some reason. Like I
Hmm.
actually at one point I thought like, is this Rysand? Is he somehow like a demon prince? Is he like teleporting
Yeah.
himself to this world or something?
Hmm.
Seriously, I he gave such a Rysand vibe. Like every time I read him, I thought it was Rysand. So that's kind of weird. And I don't know. I mean, I was so shocked when they
Hmm.
summoned him and he said something among the lines, "It's so nice to see you again." And she was like, "Yeah, same." And Hunt was just over there like, "What the fuck is
Damn.
going on?
Yeah.
Why is she so chill with the demon, right?"
I
That was
love that.
hilarious. And I was also
Hmm.
like, "What the fuck, Bryce? I loved it too, but like keeping secrets, are we?"
Oh, yeah, those characters love
um
that. But I think he was described as having
yeah.
blonde hair, but maybe I imagined it. But like, I just pictured him as Jamie Campbell Bower immediately. Like, you know how he was like in
Oh my
Stranger
god.
Things playing a bad guy.
Oh, wow. Jamie
Yeah.
Campbell, oh my gosh, that man. Look, on paper, Jamie is not my type at all. Like I prefer darker guys and I prefer them to be a little bit more with a little bit more meat on
Hmm.
them. Jamie's super skinny, like model like skinny. And but he just does things to me, okay? Thankfully my boyfriend's not home. But yeah, no. Even when he played Jace in The Mortal Instruments, I was
Yes.
fangirling hard. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's a good imagery. I mean, I didn't imagine him like that
Yeah.
because for some reason I imagined him as Rysand.
Hmm.
Like I had the picture of Rysand in my head, but
Hmm.
I don't remember that he's described as blonde hair. Damn. But I mean, this guy, he can change. Like the
Yeah.
first time they met, he was a cat. So
Yeah.
he can like be whoever he wants to be. But there was like a part with the prince. He said something to Hans. He said something in the sense of, "What are you doing here?" And he looked at him like at first he didn't even glance at him. He just saw Bryce. Then when he noticed he was there, he was like, "What the fuck are you doing here? And why do you have a mark on your eyebrow?" And he actually had like a specific expression, like a specific word that he used for the mark, which was something we've never heard before. And that was interesting. And then, like at the end of the book, I'm gonna skip because it's just relevant to this. He
Yeah.
pretty much talks about his father. He says that his father would be proud, and Jessaba knows his dad. So I think that Hunt's father is like a demon king or something, like someone super important, and that's why he didn't understand why is Hunt put into the slave position. I think why is he being lowered to this, and he was so chill about it. He was just like, "Oh, why are you here?" It was so funny. And I was like, what does
Hmm.
he mean? And I was kind of annoyed that, Khan didn't question it later on. But I guess he was just so shocked by the fact that Bryce was just kind of hanging out with the demon prince before and he didn't.
Definitely. I paid attention to like the last lines in the book where we definitely will find out something about Hunt and like his parentage that we don't know yet. So I'm excited about that. Like there's more to it.
You're right. So, I mean, I'm just pointing quotes out here. Oh my gosh. But like when Hunt was observing Bryce at one point and he said, like, there's someone I want guarding my back. There's a friend I'd like to have. And that was
Like yeah.
such a bittersweet quote because he never had that.
Hmm.
Like even when he was freed from Sandriel and everything, when he got to the city, he still was a slave. He still had to serve. He still didn't want to make friends. He didn't want to
Hmm.
attach himself to anyone. And with Bryce, he finally understood what it is like to have a friend and to want a friend like that. And that was
Hmm.
so cute. And oh my gosh, now that I'm mentioning Sandriel, that fucking bitch, huh?
Exactly. Fuck. I was terrified each time she showed up. I was just like terrified for Hunt. Oh my gosh. And it was so badass what happened at the end. Yeah.
Oh, he ripped her head off. That was
As he
amazing.
should.
That was such a good scene. She deserved that shit. Like, it was just so well deserved and it was so well written. And I was
Yes.
so happy that he was the one to do it. It was incredible. And did everyone bow to him after that, right?
Yes. Yes. That was
Yeah.
badass. That's what he
Yeah.
deserves. That was so good. Oh my gosh. And also Hypaxia, like when no one was looking, got the tattoos off and freed him, and then he was able to act. That was like so fuck yeah. I love her.
I love her so much for that. Hypaxia was also an
Hmm.
intriguing character. The moment I found out that Rune was supposed to marry this witch queen, and when
Hmm.
she met the nurse, I mean, her actually,
Yeah.
I knew that it was her. I don't know. I just knew, okay, this is gonna be her. It was very predictable, but I'm happy that they met and that they liked each other. That was cute.
Yeah, when we kept like not fighting out her name, I was like, there's no good reason why we don't know her name. So duh.
Exactly. I just want to mention another sad moment, when it was Danica's birthday and she really
Yeah.
loved donuts. So Bryce kind of took the donuts and I don't know, she sat somewhere and she wanted to eat them and Hunt came and she opened it up
Hmm.
and that stupid girl, what was her name? The wolf, she kind
Emily.
of wrote something on the donuts. And I loved how Hunt, went to her and he like threatened her and he pinned
Hmm.
her against the wall and was like, you bitch. I love that alpha whole moment because it was well deserved. And he
Yeah.
knew, he knew that he was going to be punished. And the scene when, is it called second death? I think it is when like his
Yes,
wings
the
were cut off,
wings.
right?
Hmm.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, that was brutal. And I didn't believe that
Yes.
this was actually happening. But at least Micah then said, they'll grow back. So, okay,
Hmm.
fine. But it still hurts and it still sounds awful. And yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I was like so scared. Like when we found out that he'll like recover from that, I was just like, okay, like at least, because oh my gosh, I was so sad that something would happen to Hunt, something bad. So yeah, and
Yeah.
also, after Hunt gets his wings cut off, they have like this moment where they finally, decide to take the relationship further, and then at night after that, Bryce, I don't know, gets a feeling that she needs to like check something out and like see Tyrion. And then she sees the deal happen on a boat. And what did you think about that?
Oh my god. I was just, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? I was so confused. I did not see that coming at all. We were in Hunt's head. He never even like, I mean, he mentioned a few times, yeah, that he wants to be free and stuff. So of course that makes sense. But like, it didn't make sense to me because Micah offered him, if he solves the stupid crime, like he just has to do five more, I don't know, assignments and then he'll be free. And yeah, of course, like Micah, it turned out he would probably just kill him after he found out the truth.
Hmm.
But we didn't know that at that point. And honestly, I was naive when it comes to Micah. I'm so disappointed by myself, but I actually thought that he's going to be better than everyone thinks. Because like he wasn't as bad as Sandriel. He still kind of gave them a semblance of
Hmm.
freedom. He could have killed him after that, but no, he just like I put brackets on just
Yeah,
cut off his wings, and I don't know, he kind of seemed reasonable in a way. So I was like, well, Micah isn't that bad. Why would you go ahead and screw this up for yourself by going behind his back and also behind Bryce's back? I mean,
exactly.
she trusted him, so I felt really sorry for her, so sad for her. That was a big betrayal. But when he explained that, like, of course I understood him too. Like, I didn't hate him or anything, but
Hmm.
everything was just so disappointing. And he said, that he actually changed his mind. But the thing is that his friends, they still wanted to go, and he wanted to kind of help them out. So it just didn't turn out the way he wanted it to, sadly.
Exactly, yeah. Like I was so sad that he betrayed Bryce. I was so disappointed by that happening, especially like in this stage of their relationship. Like Bryce like just started to completely trust him and realized that she's probably in love with him. And then like he does that. And like damn, he has a good cause. Right. So I was like, well fuck, if you betrayed her because you wanted to, I don't know, do something horrible, well, yeah, I would hate you, but now I have all these conflicting feelings because fuck, like I don't want you to be a fucking slave, of course. But if he at least like talked to Bryce, if he at least like trusted her, and also now with the benefit of hindsight, we can see that this deal was basically no way it would happen. But like at that point, I was like, you have a way out. You have a pretty good way out. Like all you need to do is like wait for not even that long, probably, and like you'll have, what you want out of life. So to risk it all like that, it was so like reckless. But I mean, like I get now, like it would be like way worse actually to trust Micah. But still, at that moment, I was like, damn.
Yeah, but like he didn't know that. So it was like actually such a stupid choice. It was just so stupid. But at least, he did kind of change his mind, but it wasn't his fault at the end. It was like Justinian and I forgot her name, the other person, they wanted to do that regardless. But yeah, it sucked that it turned out the way it did. And then of course Micah came and Isaiah, and Micah was like, super smug about it.
Hmm.
He even allowed Kant to explain everything just so that he can like show it in his face. And of course then they were captured. Justinian was pretty much crucified, and
Yeah.
Gloria, he took her body away and she was like thrown into the ocean like in a box, and she has to like suffer now for eternity. I hope that somehow in future books she's gonna be rescued. That's so
Yeah.
fucked up because like imagine, like she's probably gone mad already.
Yeah, we kind of forgot about that, didn't we? Like she's just chilling in the bottom of the ocean and no one's rescuing her. And that's like that sounds like a fucking nightmare. Like imagine that
Yeah.
existence. Like there's nothing, like just eternity and you're trapped. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah. It
But
would be better if she died, yeah, for sure.
mhm.
I mean, she really got the worst punishment, honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Hunt's punishment was also very suiting. I mean, of course, Micah knew what would hurt the most. He basically sold him back to Sandriel. He would be part of her triary again. And when she came to his cell and she showed him pictures, of him and Bryce, like that
Yeah.
was the moment that he was just like, I fucked up so bad. Why the fuck did I have to do this? And
Mhm.
it hurt. I mean, I was so sad when Bryce came and she wanted to help him. And by the way, I was really happy that she didn't stay mad at him for very long because, life is short. Don't waste,
Mhm.
that on grudges. So I was really happy that, yeah, she understood. So I'm happy. And she wanted to buy him off, like borrowed the money from Jessaba so she had
Yeah.
enough. And that was incredible. And at that moment, everyone else found out that she's actually the princess. Rune's friends, they were like, they couldn't believe that Rune kept this a secret from them, that she's actually their princess, that they are supposed to serve her. So that was like
Mhm.
a shock for them too. By the way, I love Declan and Finn. That whole gang is just amazing. They're so fun. They're like such
Mhm.
a brotherhood. They're the bros, when you come to college and you join a fraternity or something,
Yeah.
they're those guys, okay?
Mhm.
Ugh, the cool kids. So I love them so much. But yeah, regardless, that whole scene was sad. And, Hunt, he couldn't believe what she was doing for him. But yeah, of course, it didn't work.
Yeah, that was, oh my gosh, when we saw that slideshow of those pictures and when you could like see the progress of how Hunt slowly like
Yeah.
started to like feel happiness. And like you could like
Yes, he came
see
out of
that
his
on his
shell.
face.
And I mean, the pictures itself like show progress because he at first he didn't even take a picture of a
Yeah,
sunset. He just had like a body on his phone. He had like three pictures or something, and she was so
yeah.
shocked by that. And at the end, his phone was full of pictures of her and
Mhm.
him and their life together. And
Mhm.
losing that must have felt like so bad. Like he must have felt so stupid. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, but I was still sad for him. Like, I kind of wish that they got a moment to, like, talk it out, that it wasn't just like Bryce, like, fuck it, I forgive him. That, like, maybe they got a chance to actually, like, talk about it, but, like, damn, like, not going to happen, obviously. But yeah, of course, like, I
Yeah.
wanted them to be together and to work through this. So I'm glad that they did. And yeah, but damn, like Bryce was really like ready to sacrifice anything, like her whole life, like she was prepared to be a slave in his place.
Yep. Yep. And everything, I mean, at the end of this book, like seriously, shit hit the fan. I mean, the summit was so dramatic. At first it kind of dragged on a bit because they talked and talked and talked, and I was like,
Hmm.
okay, well, can something happen? And like it was so funny because everyone was describing how bored they were at the summit, and I
Yeah.
was actually bored in that point of the book, so I
Hmm.
actually felt like I was there with them. It was such a good feeling. I was also
Hmm.
bored. I was like, can something happen? Like just like Rune was explaining, like this shit, I'm going to sleep. By the way, yeah, Rune can like talk to people in their
Yeah.
minds, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, anyways, at that time, Micah, he went to a meeting. That's what Sandriel said. But actually, he
Yeah.
went to Bryce. And the moment, he arrived there, Bryce got like super nervous and scared. But I actually had a feeling like, no, he's actually gonna tell you that he's on your side and stuff. Like, I still thought Michael was, I don't know. I still thought he was, because he was charismatic. And I, for some reason, just kind of totally believed him. I mean, stupid, stupid girl, naive girl. But yeah, no, he actually came to like threaten her. He knew about the horn that Danica stole. It was actually on her back. He realized it. And yeah, and Bryce was so smart here. Like she
Yeah.
recorded everything and
Yes.
oh my gosh, that was so dramatic. The fact that I can envision this as a TV show, how everyone is in that stupid meeting and they're literally watching a movie. That was like so
Yes.
cool and so good. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Declan was working overtime, bitch, like looking for the angles, looking for which camera fit to show them. Like, damn, you should be a producer, man.
Declan is the MVP of this book. Like Declan is the man. Like without him, I mean, I adore that guy. He's a genius.
Yeah, he's the guy in Kim Possible that just like shows up on their phone and he's like surrounded by computers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, oh my gosh. I was suspecting Micah. Like, I was like, at this point, like, well, fuck, shit is going down. Shit is about to go down. But when he was like saying, like, oh, I figured it out, and Bryce was like, well, I figured it out. And I was just like, figured what out? What's going on? Like, I
Yeah,
didn't put two and
yeah,
two
yeah, yeah,
together
yeah.
at all.
Yeah. In regards to this whole situation, I was really
Mm-hmm.
clueless and I'm so disappointed by myself, but yeah, it is what it is. I
Mm-hmm.
can't figure out everything, okay? So yeah, that was a very tense situation when they realized that Micah was gonna like attack her, and when Rune called for his like what are they called? The Ox, right? He called them
Yeah.
to go there and help her. And they were like arriving for, so I was like, bitch, where are
Bitch,
you? I mean,
what were they
they
doing?
arrived at the end when everything was over. I'm like, where were you?
Yes.
What the fuck? I mean, even if they got here, they couldn't have done anything. Like Micah would have
Hmm.
just killed everyone. But still, I'm like, well, come on. At least he would have a distraction. And
Yeah.
Lily wouldn't have to sacrifice her freaking self, right?
Exactly. Like they were just like taking their time. Like what the fuck? I was just
Yeah.
like, well, very convenient for the plot, I guess, but like doesn't really make sense. Ugh, okay. But I still love that scene and I love that moment. I love how quickly Bryce was thinking and how like she figured out that she needs proof that this needs to be broadcasted. Then like when they like locked him in the toilet. That's just absurd. But
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
yeah, like made it seem like more realistic, I guess. Like made it all more seem like a bit more real, and not just like magical
Yeah. I
fantasy-ish.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Something that a regular person would like do.
Hmm. Yeah. Damn. And then she had to save Syrinx from the tank.
That was so, oh my gosh. By the way, all I thought at that moment was like, how big is this tank? I didn't imagine
Yes.
it to be as big. Like it had like a bottom and you couldn't like reach the bottom for hours. You had to swim. And well, what? Where are we? How big is this library? How couldn't
Oh my
imagine it at all.
gosh. Same. I was thinking, well, it's a big tank, but I was still like picturing like a normal, I guess, like a larger type of a fish tank. I wasn't imagining there's like a fucking
Exactly.
swimming pool inside there. So I was just kind of confused at that scene because what I was picturing in my head just wasn't what was happening. And like I had to keep rearranging the library in my head. But still, like it was tense.
Yeah. I know. I mean it was tense and I was so scared. Like
Hmm.
the thing is that I imagine Syrinx as like this little puppy, half lion, half cat, whatever. And like I just imagine my dog, and like I don't know, like fighting to swim and he can't. And I was just so sad at that. And I'm so happy that she saved him. And this was her like test, the test that everyone before they like do the drop have to do.
Yeah.
I forgot the word. Do you remember?
The fucking something like rite of passage. No, I'm probably wrong, but something
Yeah.
like that. I get what you mean.
Yeah, right. Did Micah and her talk about anything that we should mention here?
Yes, his grand plan is that he'll open this doors to hell and suddenly everyone will worship him and he'll like be like this cool badass whatever. And I was just like, oh my gosh, fuck you. Yeah.
So stupid. And he actually realized that the horn was on Bryce's back because he like summoned another demon and her and Hunt were on a walk or something. And
Hmm.
it ended up being there again. So that's how
Yeah.
he kind of just knew because every
Hmm.
time she was around, the demon was there too.
Yeah.
So it just made sense. Smart guy, I guess, but ugh, annoying.
Her necklace got melted and then like immediately she walked outside without her necklace and got attacked. And then like she somehow figured it out. But yeah, like I said, I don't like that plot. Danica is supposedly so cool and so smart and such a passionate person with all those plans that she set in motion. And how did she think that this one necklace will be protecting Bryce forever? Like, it makes no sense that like, Bryce wasn't informed that also, like, that Danica, like, just, like, placed this much trust into, like, one necklace and that's it. And, I
I
don't
know.
like
I mean,
that tattoo. That's all.
ugh, I wanted to say that she probably didn't plan on dying that soon, but at the same
Well,
time,
sure.
like that last night, she said, I love you. So she obviously
Mhm.
like had suspicions that she will die rather sooner than later. So at one point, she could have, yeah. I mean, maybe she really did plan to tell her after
Maybe,
she
yeah.
came home. You know what I mean? She just died sooner than she expected. So yeah. Well, anyways, she saved Syrinx. They trapped Micah in the bathroom. Lahiba sacrificed herself, and that kind of brought Bryce a second or two. She injected herself with the antidote that
Fuck yeah.
Hypaxia managed to get her, which is amazing. I forgot about that actually. And she also had a gun or whatever that can actually kill people like Micah. And the thing is that this gun was mentioned at the beginning of the book
Mhm.
very subtly. So you forgot about it. You didn't even think about it. And then at the end, you were like, oh, So everything made sense. It wasn't just a convenience that the gun was there. It was there the whole time. We just forgot about it, and that's our problem.
Yeah, no, it's actually a rule of writing. The author was Chekhov who said it that, like, if there's a gun in the beginning of the scene or in the beginning of the book, by the end of the book, it must be shot. So I was like, there's a gun. I know that there's a gun. I know what's gonna happen. So when she like went upstairs and like started
Well,
grabbing the gun, I
damn.
was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Kill him.
Oh my gosh, this was such an emotional part for me because I was sobbing because of Lily, right? And then,
Yes.
I was like, yes, fucking murder the bastard. And I was just getting heated. I was like half crying, half being super angry and shouting. And my boyfriend was over there in the corner, like, the fuck is going on? Like, calm the fuck down. And I'm like, no, I will not calm down. And then after she shot him and killed him, she vacuumed him. And after that, I just lost my shit. I started laughing. So I went literally
Yeah,
from tears to passionate anger to freaking laughter. And it was just hilarious. If you saw me, I wish I had recorded myself.
honestly, like I was in love with Bryce at that moment. I was just like, okay, like I'm in love with her. Like when they like saw
Yeah.
the video feed of her like looking badass, looking at like the camera while she like pours gasoline on him and sets him on fire, I was like,
Oh,
I love her. Like, I don't think it's good that like I'm attracted to that, but I
yeah.
am.
I same. Dream girl, seriously. And she was super cold about it. She just did it like a boss bitch. She was like,
Yes.
finally, he's dead. This is over. I don't care for Lily, for Danica, for Connor, for the pack. I mean, oh,
Fuck.
amazing.
Yeah, I was like,
Such a queen
fuck yeah,
moment.
murder that bastard. Like, it's probably like not good that I found that so hot, but holy shit,
I mean, you're not alone. And
that was the
the
best.
number of times I got freaking goosebumps during this episode is insane. God
Yeah.
million.
Hmm.
And, after that, all hell broke loose because, he
Yes.
did actually manage to open a portal,
Yes.
fucking hell. And the demons, the creatures, they came rushing in. Everyone was attacked. They had to go to shelters.
Oh
But,
my gosh.
some humans weren't even allowed into shelters. I remember Juniper had to, like, beg her rich friends to
Hmm.
hold the doors open and stuff. And of course, Bryce, the brave, badass bitch that she is, she just took Syrinx home and then she just went and ran into danger to help people.
Fuck. Yes. Like she had a gun in one hand, a sword in the other hand. Like she just fucking murdered an archangel. She barely survived. Like she had to like take an antidote like a second ago. And here she is just like running through the city, like shooting and killing at the same time. And I was like, none of this shit is realistic, but I don't care. I'm in love with her. Like go fucking save those people. And then we also got Ethan, like finally the wolves taking her side and going
Oh,
there. Thank God. Oh my gosh.
thank God. And Ethan, like, I never hated him. I
Hmm.
understood he lost his brother. He lost the people he thought he was, gonna join in their pack. And he texted her after everything happened and she never responded. It was like
Yeah.
when Fury didn't respond to her either. Of course he was gonna resent that. But I'm glad, yeah, that at the end, of course he saw what was right and he did it. And, wolves, they're all about kids, about children. And she
Yes.
basically shouted in the phone, like, there are children here, like, come help. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that they disobeyed stupid Sabine's orders. The Fae, of course, the cowards that they are, they kind of locked
Mhm.
themselves up in their safety area.
Mhm.
But yeah, like shit went down. And at one point, when Ethan and her were running towards a sanctuary, they couldn't both fit through the door
Yeah.
because the doors were closing. So she pushed Ethan forward. Of course she did. Like seriously,
Mhm.
she has a hero
Mhm.
complex. But fine. I mean, I love her for it. And yeah, she was locked out and you could like hear Ethan like screaming inside, like, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
If she died, he would have to live with that and he would hate himself for it. So I'm glad she didn't. And
Mhm.
after that, like she said her goodbyes to everyone. It was so funny, by the way, because when she called Hunt and
Yeah.
she didn't expect him to pick up, but everyone was in the room and they were all like, give him the phone. And even Sandriel was at that point like, okay, fine, like,
Well, damn.
here you go. That was
Mhm.
hilarious to me that she actually gave him the phone. I thought she was gonna like drop it and smash it on the floor or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And she gave him the phone. So at least that, like, kudos to
Mhm.
Sandriel for that. I'm glad. And yeah, of course, she said her goodbyes and she said to Rune, about him. I forgave him a long time ago, Bryce said. I just didn't know how to tell him. Tell him I'm sorry I hid the truth and that I only did it because I love him. That's so sad. And I also love the moment when she talked about her parents and she was like, tell my dad. And then you could see like the Autumn King, he kind of looked, up and he was like expecting
Hmm.
a message for him. But then she said, like, Randall, tell him that he was an amazing dad or something like that. And when Hunt looked at the Autumn King, he actually saw like a little bit of shame on his face. And I was like, fuck yes, be
Hmm.
ashamed, freaking asshole. Like, you deserve that. Like, she's your kid. The way you treated her is unacceptable. And I was so happy for that moment. And all of her goodbyes, like, of course, I mean, it was like cheesy, you could say, but no, I love them. I appreciated them. And I felt like it was needed. She had to say all of
Hmm.
that. And then there was like this moment after, she said her goodbyes. I am
Hmm.
Bryce Quinlan, she said to the gate, to the void, to all of hell behind it. Her voice was serene, wise, and laughing. Heir to the star-born Fae. The ground slid out from under Hunt as the light between her hands, the star she'd drawn from her shattered heart, flared as bright as the sun.
Yeah.
And I got goosebumps here right now again,
Hmm.
again. I mean, the way Sarah wrote this, so dramatic and so
Hmm.
full of heart and just so good. At this point, I was like, of course I was right, but I was like, why didn't I think of the starlight? Like, that was disappointing. And yeah, it was great. And then after this, we get this flashback, with Danica, the story we've
Hmm.
already talked about.
Yeah, I didn't even think that she would have powers. I was actually kind of excited that we had a protagonist that was a bit more normal, that wasn't like the super special chosen one princess of everything, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I also
Hmm.
like that, and it was so interesting because Sarah kind of flipped it. When we didn't know about Bryce's powers, it was like, Danica, her best
Hmm.
friend, the one, the almighty powerful one,
Yeah.
that was such an interesting story that it wasn't the main character. So I was also happy for that, that she was just more like very like regular in a way. But yeah, I also, when it became clear that she is actually a chosen one and stuff, I didn't
Hmm.
mind it, yeah, because I just loved her at that point and everything was super badass. And yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I would love if like Sarah once wrote a protagonist that maybe really like didn't turn out to be the most super special girl on the planet, but like maybe sometime
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
And once, Bryce showed Danica what she can do at that moment when they were in that flashback, Bryce opened her eyes and she saw Danica and it said, but there was only wonder on Danica's face, wonder and love. And I love that, how Danica really accepted Bryce for who she was.
Hmm. Oh my gosh, this is so
Yeah.
random, but can we talk about the scene at the gun range where Bryce just like shoots like straight into the
So
target and
hot.
then turns and looks at Ron and she's like, that's also who I am, that's like the part of me. I was like, yes. So good. Like to
Yeah.
see that from Han's perspective. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. So
Hmm.
many freaking badass moments. The fact that, Danica was the one who helped her with the drop. I mean,
Yes.
goosebumps again. Like, this is what they wanted to do. Like, they
Hmm.
wanted to do the drop together on their 26th
Yes.
birthday, I think. And at the end they did it. I mean, not really together, but she was there for her. She was her anchor. And
Hmm.
I can't. And everyone in the room was like, no, she's not gonna make it. A dead person can't be your anchor, right? Like, that's not possible. And it was possible. Okay, it was possible for
Hmm.
them, and it was so beautiful. And I think Danica told her, like, at one point, light it up, Bryce. And their expression that they use, light it up, it's so good. It's so good.
Hmm.
I'm gonna tattoo that on my arm for real. Like, light
Yeah.
it up. I mean, I don't
Uh,
care. Like, seriously. And it's a
yeah.
good expression. As long as I know what it means, that's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that they actually felt like best friends. Like there was so little time we got with them together, but we got like the backstory, the like little like catchphrases that only they understand, and everything
Yeah.
was just oh. And also, I loved the full circle moment when it kind of started with them going to this arch together and making a wish, and like I made a note of that like where for some reason the first thing we're doing is going to those arches in this book. So the fact that it came back later like that, and that was
Yeah,
also their
full
last
circle.
moment.
Full circle.
Mhm.
And there was a moment when the Autumn King said that, about her not coming back. He was like, she's alone. Like, it's not possible. And Sabine actually had a good line. Tears streamed down Sabine's harsh face as she whispered, "No, she isn't." I love that. And
Yeah.
I actually thought here that Sabine was finally gonna change her mind maybe about Bryce because after you see how brave she is, and even the
Mhm.
Prime said she's a wolf, like
Yes,
that's a
I
true
loved
wolf,
that.
right? I
Mhm.
love that because she's a wolf at heart, that's what
Mhm.
wolves are supposed to be like. And if Danica survived, she would lead them to their like glory, right? That's what who they would
Mhm.
become again. But with someone like Sabine as their leader, no way, right? I enjoyed this moment of Sabine actually. It made her more human. The fact that she actually was crying about Danica here.
Yes.
She might have been harsh with her and even jealous of her, but she actually did love her. So I'm glad
Mhm.
that we got that confirmation, even if I still, of course, don't like her.
And also the way that her power level just kept increasing, because everyone thought that like
Oh,
when she makes the drop, she'll have the tiniest amount of power possible, but then like it just kept going up and up and up. And there was also less and less
yeah.
time for her to come back. And I mean, obviously she will, but I was still like, oh my gosh.
But I was a bit confused about that. So she got all of that power because of the arches, because so many people like put their power there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I
Oh
guess
my
they're
gosh,
kind
that's
of like a
amazing.
battery or something, and everyone like kept like leaving like tiny, tiny, tiny drops, and then like she sort of took it all because I don't know. I guess that's how it works.
Yeah, and she actually surpassed the Autumn King. And he was like, it doesn't even matter
Fuck
because she's
yeah.
not going to come back. Like, there's no way, right? And she did, bitch. So fuck you.
Yes.
And yeah, well, Hunt protected her. I mean, what is going on at that point?
I mean, I think the Asteri like sent in like bombs to just like
Right.
bomb all the
Fuck.
demons. And like I guess
Yes.
who survives in the shelter survives. The rest like fuck them. And like Bryce was alone over there, And actually I
Hmm,
think that
hmm.
was before the drop because the drop basically saved everyone and saved Hunt. But yeah, Hunt like basically like dropped onto her from like a helicopter and like sheltered her, and then like everything just like went back, and that's like how she survived. And I was
Exactly.
like, damn.
Yes, and when she woke up, she thought Ash was around her, but
Yeah,
actually it was Hunt's feathers, from his
yeah,
wings. So that was so that also that description, like his legs were completely destroyed, like they were like
yeah.
ribbons. It was kind of, oh my gosh, poor Hunt. And he was somehow still alive, but yeah,
Hmm.
she made the drop and she kind of healed him. She healed the world in a way, but of course the people who died, they stayed dead. So
Hmm.
thankfully Hunt wasn't dead yet. I mean, I don't know how he survived, but he wasn't, and
Hmm.
that's the only thing that matters. And yeah, that was everything was so extra about that. But literally, after everything we've described, so many sad scenes, I actually haven't come to the saddest scene for me. Like there's
Yeah.
another scene that's the most sad for me. Do you have anything to add about this whole ending? And then I can tell you about the scene.
Of course, go ahead.
Okay, so this got me the most, guys, really. Bryce unlocked her phone and read Danica's final happy messages one last time. The light built on the river, gilding its surface. Bryce's eyes stung as she smiled softly, then read through Connor's last words to her. Message me when you're home safe. Bryce
Damn.
began typing. The answer, it had taken her 2 years, nearly to the day to write. I'm home. She sent the
Fuck.
message into the ether, willed it to find its way across the gilded river and to the misty isle beyond. And then she deleted the thread, deleted Danica's messages too.
Damn.
I can't. I mean, I'm gonna cry right now. This is this is like literally the saddest thing ever.
Hmm.
I'm home. Text me when you're home, and she
I'm
responded 2
home.
years later. I'm home, Anya.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. Like she is finally okay. She finally healed. But oh my gosh, I still was so sad that she deleted everything. Like you don't
Same.
have to like keep holding on to it, but like just like keep it for the memories or something.
I could never. I couldn't
Mhm.
delete. I could not delete entire message threads. Like, no freaking
Mhm.
way. And the fact that that was his last message to her, I mean,
Mhm.
this is just heartbreaking. And then there was
Mhm.
like a gift from the Under King for her. So, for a heartbeat, just one, the dawn parted the mists of the bone quarter, revealing a grassy shore, rolling serene hills beyond. Not a land of stone and gloom, but of light and green.
Mhm.
And standing on that lovely shore, smiling at her, all six of them, the seventh gone forever, having yielded her eternity. But the tallest of them, standing in the middle, with his hand lifted in greeting, Bryce brought her hand to her mouth, blowing a gentle kiss. As swiftly as they parted, the mist closed. But Bright kept smiling all the way back to her apartment.
Mhm.
I love the
Yeah.
fact that she got her goodbye with Danica. It was sad,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it was beautiful because Danica encouraged her. She encouraged her to go back. And there was that like funny moment when Bryce was like, "So you're encouraging me to go back to a man for a man?" But yeah, she got her goodbye, and she never got that with Connor in a way. So I'm super glad that we got this like scene where he waved at her, and just the idea. I the thing is that I imagined this so well in my head, like it was a movie. I literally imagined like hills opening up. Like it reminded me of The
Mhm.
Hobbit, when you have like,
Mhm.
those little Hobbit houses and everything is just so beautiful and
Mhm.
green. And, they were just standing there on that hill. And of course, the tallest one waving. And that's just so sad. And then it
Oh,
closed up and they were gone. They were
yeah.
gone.
At that moment, I was like
Yeah.
really thinking like how amazing it is that in this world, people sort of get to live their afterlife like in this magical place, I guess, where it's kind of separate from the rest of the city, but it's still like sort of in their world. Like I just like found it so interesting, and like I was like so happy that they're happy there, and it kind of felt like
Yeah.
closure. They're getting an
Exactly.
eternity,
And
like a happy eternity there.
I know. And it was also beautiful because here, in our world, we wish
Hmm.
like heaven exists. We want to believe that once we die, we will see our loved ones again.
Hmm.
So the fact that we had this here, that death is not the end, yeah, like you will see them eventually and you have that security, you have that fact.
Yeah.
So that's really beautiful. The idea that she knows that they're there, like in
Hmm.
a heavenly kind of place, and she'll, at one point, she'll join them.
Hmm.
So
Well, not
that's kind
because
of
she sold
beautiful
her
for sure.
place.
Oh, you had to
Like,
ruin it for me, didn't you? I
I'm
forgot about it.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I refuse to believe that. Like, she will find a way to go there, So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But yeah, it was such a beautiful story. And also, like, again, I have to emphasize how fucking Sarah tricked us because we mentioned at the beginning, there were reels about Danica and Bryce. And of course, we believe that no, she's not that for real. But like, as soon as I realized, yeah, that she is, that's when I knew, of course, it was just memories. That's why people love their friendship because
Hmm.
Sarah she kept their friendship alive. Like, Danica died, but the friendship survived, right?
Yeah.
There were still friends, there were still memories, there was still nostalgia. So yeah, and that's what that is, they might be gone, their body might be gone, but the memories stay forever.
Hmm.
Okay, so we actually came to the end of this episode. We survived somehow. We got goosebumps a lot. I
Hmm.
cried I almost cried a lot of the time, especially at the Connor end. So yeah, like right now I'm at 75% of the second book. Anya already finished it, so she's kind of struggling right now because she knows shit that I
So
don't.
much.
And
So
I can't
much.
wait to finish it.
Please.
Yeah, but I just started a poetry account. I got back into writing poems. So I'm really busy with that because I'm just completely invested into writing poems. So every time I read the book, somehow I get an idea about what I should write. Like what should
Yeah.
I write next? And I just
Hmm.
start scribbling. So I kind of get distracted, and then I go back to reading, and then the same shit happens again. So it's like this cycle, of reading and writing, and it's crazy.
But that's wonderful. Like, that's so much better than being distracted by Instagram, which is what happens to me. So at least you're being creative
At least
and
I'm
smart
productive.
and
Yeah, and creative.
exactly.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
of
Can I
course,
ask
of
you
course.
something? Maybe do you have
Mhm.
any predictions for how the next book will go? I mean, you still have like a little bit to the end. So if you have any theories or something, I just want to hear them. Maybe it won't even be in the episode. Like, I just want to know what you're thinking.
Okay, well, I don't know. I feel like the ending obviously is gonna be something among the lines of universes, merging. right? I
Yeah.
mean, I guess some doors are gonna open, and they're like Hunt, Bryce, and the gang is gonna cross to
Uh-huh.
Prithian, probably, right? Or like the other way
Maybe.
around. But like, I don't know how Sarah's gonna pull this off. I mean, this is gonna be, oh my, I really hope that she pulls it off in a way that's gonna be satisfying for us, that I'm not gonna be
Oh, that's
disappointed,
good.
because like merging
Yeah.
two universes, this is gonna be, wow, that's difficult.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, you're in for
Like,
some interesting developments, I think. So can't
seriously?
wait.
I mean,
Of
I'm
course.
at 75%. Like, what can happen? Like, I
What happened in the
what else
last
can happen?
25% of this bitch? Like, imagine the next book then.
Oh my god, you're right. What's wrong with me?
That's like the part when
You're
shit goes
right.
down.
I like, after we finish this episode, I'm gonna eat and then I should start reading. I'm home alone, so all I can do
Mhm.
right now is read. And of course, write, right? So hopefully
Yes.
I'm not gonna get any inspo for writing, because I just want to finish this book already so we can talk about it.
But I also encourage you to write, like, do everything. Yeah.
I know. You're a good friend. Okay. So we finally came to the end. Thank you guys for
Hmm.
listening as always. Text us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram and on TikTok, of course. We are More Than Fiction Pod. Please rate us wherever you're listening. Ratings are important so that, other people can find us too and
Hmm.
enjoy this community with the rest of us, right? So that's the goal. And yeah, light it up, bitches, right?
Light it up! Yes!
Yeah.
Fuck
Bye.
yeah!